Hello, this is Acoustic Freeze. This is a video directed towards the host of Freedomain Radio about how we define liberty. The current system of statism is not sustainable, and those who have genetic conditions that make them become reliant on medication for whatever reason find themselves dependent on government for the very liberty that we value. To have a completely capitalistic society as a means of espousing personal liberty is not a long-term sustainable one. Let's take a look, for example, at an event occurring in the United States at the current time in world history. More specifically, let's take a look at the state of Idaho. Idaho is very libertarian in spirit, even though most of Idaho state government is not practicing that spirit. In effect, they are cutting off the natural right of movement and the ability to be a part of human society. I, however, must digress back to the subject at hand. It goes without saying, the questions that need to be asked is, what is liberty? And how does one define it? Also, what group of people will this liberty be for? Communism and capitalism has failed in addressing liberty, as well as addressing the issue of both of their sustainability. While I agree with you that the Venus Project is doomed to failure, we must also address the ever-present questions of how we treat each other as a society. You may believe that I am a globalist. In fact, I am far from it. When you have those who are in power controlling a world system like the UN, you tend to have more human suffering than the ability to help others in the process. For those who have been dependent on government for their medications, would it not be logical to get rid of patent protections for such life-saving medication that people depend on? Currently in the world, we have a serious problem with price gouging for medications that we already have on the market as it is. So, what will be an enlightened future for the human race? Well, I can tell you right now, it is looking like a more darker future. To use an analogy for the best way to describe how I see humanity's future would be to use a science fiction television show to describe what it is that I see. Babylon 5 is probably the best way I can explain this in a way that I can understand. In this show, it is very much a Jeffersonian portrait of what the future would look like. It even includes the very essence of what we know of human nature today: racism, economic inequality, along with wars with other cultures based on misunderstandings. Shouldn't there be a middle ground in how we operate as a society? If you ask me what that middle ground would look like, I can tell you that I don't have all the answers. I only have questions. Shouldn't an enlightened society be one in which we take care of our own? I'm aware of what Jefferson said in that regard. However, I cannot help but think that maybe liberty should be defined as one in which all people have access to opportunities to advancement. Maybe by getting rid of patent protections that those who are dependent on government for their liberty their medications give them. They can be able to advance up the economic ladder to improve their lives. So, the big question is, how do we define liberty, and who will that liberty be for? This is Acoustic Freeze, saying bye for now.